Salutations, respected viewers. This is George from Ireland. This video is about Donald J. Trump's war on truth. You could even start with his name, though he's not the one who started this. That his surname is really Trumpf, but I believe it was his father who changed it because there was some anti-German prejudice after the Second World War. So changed it to Trump and began telling people they were of Swedish origin, which is not the case. But anyway, perhaps I'm being unfair. My surname was anglicised in the 19th century. But Trump goes around inventing figures, denying real figures. He's been lying about his wealth for decades. That's why he won't release the tax records. Why else? No other presidential candidate since John Fitzgerald Kennedy has refused to publish his tax return. It shows a distinct lack of probity, of course. And so slapdash about everything. Now, sometimes it's outright mendacity, but sometimes it's just sheer stupidity. There's cock-up as well as conspiracy with him, and he's constantly boasting. And there was, during the 9/11 attacks, there's footage of him. He's on the phone to the news channel, showing the Trevor Noah show. And after the World Trade Tower goes down, and Trump thinks that is an apposite time to brag that he now owns the tallest building in the area. He's that tasteless. Thousands of people have been murdered, and all he can think about is how that's a gain for him, how his property empire has gone up in value. It is staggering that he'll be forgiven for this, that even at a moment like that, all he can think about is himself, his net worth. And how on earth does so much of the public forgive him for this, that when he's completely unrepentant for revolting remarks like that? He used to misnumber floors in his apartment blocks, as in they wouldn't start at 1 because he wanted to start higher, so that there appeared to be more floors at the top. So he's been a flagrant fraud for decades, and that's why he was in bed with the mob, buying his cement from Fat Tony Salerno, a notorious mafiosi. Is it a criminal offence to purchase cement? No, it's not. But of all the people he could have bought from, why did he buy from Fat Tony Salerno? Was it the best quality? Was it the best price? Or was it because he thought it sagacious to curry favour with organised crime? I suspect the latter. And the world and his wife knew what Fat Tony Salerno was up to, and he was eventually sent down from it. So the staggering thing is that Trump has managed to turn lying into a political philosophy. And that is the key feature of Trumpism, is just shameless, unblushing lying on an industrial scale, almost incessantly. And just occasionally he'll let the cat out of the bag. He'll disgrace himself by telling the truth, by saying, yeah, that's the real reason I fired James Comey, was to do with the investigation. So there are all these false claims he's made of bogus votes being cast the other way. These voters were suppositious, according to him. Well, whose identity did they steal? Or, they stole of the dead or what? They provided no particulars, no examples, not a shred of evidence. There were no convictions whatsoever that I know of. Now, were any fraudulent votes cast in the 2016 election? I don't know. If there were, I think there's a very, very small number, given that over 120 million people voted and didn't change the outcome, come anywhere near changing the outcome. And he was saying he won the popular vote once you subtract the false votes. So Hillary won by 3 million votes, over 3 million bogus votes. Why does the Republican Party let him get away with these lies? Why do they not feel duty-bound, be patriotic, step in and say, no, we're not having people bad-mouthing our democracy like this? He didn't believe he was going to win. He doubted the opinion polls. He believed the opinion polls, and he said that the real poll would be rigged. So Trump's ideology is Trump and nothing more. And the GOP, this once proud party that abolished slavery and all that, has become little more than the Trump fan club. There are a few brave dissenting voices speaking out against him. When it came to the Puerto Rico hurricane, he claimed that the death toll was falsely inflated just to make him look bad. So what was the true death toll? Where was he getting this information from? Again, he was making it up. It was another example of blatant lying. No evidence was cited. I mean, his response was terrible. So he's a total malapert at best. I mean, but how nauseating that thousands of Americans get killed, almost as many at 9/11, and he doesn't give a damn. All he can think about is that it doesn't reflect positively on him. He's not going to visit there. He never put himself in harm's way. I mean, all the recent presidents, they went to the danger zone, they went to combat zones in Afghanistan, Iraq, and so on. But, oh no, he's not doing that. He'll spend more time at his golf course. And look how idle he is. Republicans are meant to be against people who are idle, who don't deserve a living, and look at him. So he sends out his misspelled tweets, and ignorance is exalted. To think that Dan Quayle was panned for misspelling potato. Oh, what a moron. He's too stupid to be vice president. That was way back in about 1990. And Trump makes spelling mistakes all the time. Nothing wrong with being dyslexic, but get someone to help you if you know you have this problem. You are the leader of the largest Anglophone country in the world. The world judges the United States by you. And if you're making mistakes in something that basic, what else are you making mistakes in? It demeans the dignity of the office when he doesn't do due diligence. George W. Bush came out with many malapropisms, and he was mercilessly lampooned. You might remember Obama's slip of the tongue when he said there were 53 states. Again, he was ridiculed for that. Now, everybody misspeaks occasionally. I mispronounce things or I mangle the grammar. There are two different ways to say it. And my nerves, I might blend the two different ways of saying it, and that comes out as being ungrammatical. So, yeah, we're all capable of making mistakes. I'm the first to admit it. I make countless mistakes. But this is something which is to be checked. It's not going out live. He could get it right. So he plays fast and loose with the truth, to put it mildly. Not a details man. Well, not a knowledge man, full stop, I suppose. He doesn't have his feet on the ground. He's not trying to apprise himself of what the facts are. He should put a quest for truth. What is the information? I need objective data, and I can make wise decisions on the basis of information. So he's a stranger to reason. The very notion of truth is alien to him. There is truth, and whether I like it or not, I have to face up to it, rather than saying, well, I don't like this, so I'm going to invent my version of things I want to believe, and I'll just believe that. Or, you know, I do like whatever, so I'll disbelieve something no matter how incontrovertible the evidence. So he never takes responsibility. He's totally reckless, having unsafe sex with Stormy Daniels. Now, should we believe Trump, who's made over 4,000 false or misleading statements in public since becoming president, or Stormy? The only lie I know that she's told is when she claimed she hadn't had intercourse with Trump. And then, then when she was on a lie detector test, she showed that she had. Why hasn't Trump undergone a lie detector test for that one? Now, does it matter that he copulated with her? I'm not moralistic, I don't care, and most Republicans are deeply moralistic. They can't stand adultery, unsafe sex with a hooker. I mean, I don't think she's bad for being a prostitute, but you know, if you're going to pick up AIDS from anyone, it's someone like her, which he then pass on to his wife. So I thought I was super soldier. Then I turned 5, and I had to distinguish fact from fantasy. But Trump hasn't made it that far in his psychological and emotional development. He lives in a world of make-believe. Though this vivid, imaginary world that he inhabits is dangerous for the rest of us when he can't make decisions on an objective basis. He has to emotionalize everything, take everything personally, make it all about boosting his ego. His name has got to be on everything. So, like when there was that school shooting and Trump says, yeah, I would have rushed in there to save the children, even if I didn't have a weapon. Where does Trump ever shown physical courage or moral courage to say, you know what, I got it wrong, I face up to this mistake, I take responsibility for that, I'm going to tell the truth even though it hurts, even though it reflects badly on me? No, he's never stepped up to the plate. He's never shown any common decency. He's never behaved on an adult level like that. He is utterly shameless, brazen, vile and detestable. And the trouble is the Democrats might say that Trump has found the magic formula for winning elections, which is barefaced lying. So if he can do it and get away with it, why don't we? And it begs the question of what long-term damage has this done to the American system? When will the Republican Party recover, or will it? Perhaps that's too much to hope for. And he might well infect the Democrats who say, well, if you can't beat them, join them. If they're going to do this and win, and we're going to play clean, well, then we're never going to win. So in order to get ourselves a level playing field, we've got to get down and dirty with them. Otherwise, we don't stand a chance. And then that's really dangerous. And then there are no adults left in the room. And then nobody's telling the truth. And there can't be any common ground agreeing what the truth really is. And it's only on the basis of information rather than misinformation that sensible decisions can possibly be made.